Hey, it's Chris here today from Huckabones Equipment. In today's video, as you'll see beside me, we have the Z202 Series. So we have the 54 and the 48. Doing what we always do in overview videos, starting at the front, working our way back, pointing out all the key features, and then we're going to show you how to start these units. So stick with us. So whenever we talk about the Z202 lineup, there's 5 different model choices in that lineup. The first one is the entry-level Z232. It's smaller, it's got a completely different look to it, it's completely kind of separate other than the name branding of it. So we won't be focusing on that today. What we're going to be focusing on is the 2 bigger units, or the 4 bigger models with 2 different deck sizes. So focus on the deck sizes, either 48 or 54. Within that deck size, there are 4 models with a lot of key differences. So that's why we're bringing you this video today, is to demonstrate what those key differences are in those models. So let's jump to it now and start at the front and work our way back on these units. So as we start off this video, you'll see behind me we have the 232 42-inch from Kubota. It's in the 200 series lineup, but it's completely different. We have videos on it kind of explaining all the differences and why it is different than what we're focusing on today. So that's your entry-level Kubota. Very economical, and then we move up to the Z252 or the 242 KHs, and it's a very economical and affordable unit compared to the next unit here beside me. So hopefully you're following me in all that. As we start at the front here, you'll see some very wide front tires. So throughout the years, Kubota's gone from the 100 series to the I can't remember them all, but it was 100 series, the 200 series, the 202, and I'm forgetting one in there. So lots of different upgrades throughout the years. What they've really done in the last couple of years, whenever they came out with the 202 series, is really expanded the offerings for these front tires. You'll see them super wide. They're just as wide as what you're going to see on the 400 series. But what you'll also see is that they're non-greasable. So again, Kubota has gone through the years and figured out that the average homeowner doesn't grease their units. So let's make everything enclosed and make them non-greasable, and that's what you see now on the front of these. There's lots of pros and cons to all that, but at the end of the day, that's how they are on all their 200 series lineup. After that, as we move a little bit further back, you'll see they have a removable plate here. So nice and easy to get access to your mower deck under there. You'll also see some big pucks, they call them there, rubber pucks. Why are they there? Comfort-wise. So again, whenever it's steel on steel, you could get a rattle there, or vibration. Whenever it's rubber on steel, it's going to lessen that. So it makes it a lot more comfortable, a lot less vibrations coming up through your feet there. So, because again, one thing that Kubota doesn't really have in any of their offerings, and it's something that's in their philosophy of the whole thing, is you won't see front suspension on them. You really won't see any suspension on them, period, other than on the seat. We used to sell Simplicity here, so they're a great example. Ferris's of a front suspension on it. That's where their comfort level comes from. Kubota never has that. They're always kind of a solid front axle, and then have other things throughout the units to really make them comfortable. In this case, they start with is the pucks on there to eliminate the vibration coming up through the feet. So they come in either a 48 or 54 at the 242 or 252s. Same deck on either one, other than the sizing. So again, very deep unit decks. You're going to be looking at about 6 inches there. What do I get with 6 inches of depth? What it gives you the ability to is for that grass that gets folded over whenever the deck goes over top, gives it an opportunity to come back up and be cut off there. So on a lower deck, it may not give that an opportunity it'll leave more strips basically at the end of the day behind you. Every lawn tractor out there in thick grass is going to leave strips. The Kubotas generally, you're going to see less of it whenever it gets into that thicker grass. Again, you'll see 2 black holders under there. Again, easy to remove, easy to get under there for whenever you have sticks or grass buildup. Easy to clean out. And Kubota doesn't have, in their philosophy of their mower decks, your water hose on there, a plug-in on the side, and then try and clean it out that way. Kubota actually wants you to remove the deck or lift it up the front and clean it out, as you'll probably end up doing a better job and a cleaner job long term, especially because grass at the end of the season is the best time to do that because it is corrosive. But these decks last. We definitely have some customers out there with thousands of hours on them with no issues other than blades and belts kind of idea. So, okay, so now as we move back to the operator station, there's a lot going on here, a lot to know and a lot to see, because it doesn't look there's some key differences over the rest of the whole lineup on just this operator station here. So as we start with number 1, is this black pedal out front. So what does it do? As you can see, it moves the mower deck up and down. So again, you have the transport, and it is lockable up there, which means it keeps it up if you're looking to transport it. but it also gives you the ability to adjust your cutting height. So whenever it is in the up position like this, you can adjust your cutting height from basically 1 inch to 4 inch and then put it back down. So you make your adjustment and let it back down, you are now good to cut. As we move a little bit farther back here, we have the handles. They look like handles, right? They've added a lot of weight to these over the years. Again, why would they do that? It's take out the vibration. So as you have vibrations coming up through here, what helps with that is weight and rubber. So you'll see they've really upgraded the handles and the weight of the handle too to remove that vibration. And it has definitely worked over the older ones, especially the 100 series that way. Over the 200 series, what they really changed too is in the cowling of the plastic. There's a lot more room in and around you. Again, it may have only changed it by an inch or two, but at the end of the day, it feels a lot bigger than that. It feels like you're sitting on a Z400. So really big improvement that way on the look and the feel of it. After that, you have an hour meter, and then you have your park brake on this side. Your hand throttle and engaging your mower deck is right there. We have your choke, and then you have your engine start button. As you heard, it's a button. It's not a key or anything like that. It's just engine start stop button there. So push start is always nice to see. It functions very well. As we look down here, you'll see your fuel gauge is very simplistic. It is just a sticker. Very simple, and that's what you're looking for. Just how much fuel do I have left kind of idea. One thing to know about it is even whenever it reads full there, is the neck is all the way up here. So there's quite a number of liters, or maybe even a gallon or two, to be able to fill up to the top here. So it has quite a big tank and quite a lot of use out of it. So as we move around back here, number one thing is getting access under the seat here. So in and under there, you'll see that there's a battery, a fuel shutoff, and a few other adjustments that can be made into your fuses as well. So it's nice, simple, it's easy. It's just just one lever to pull there, and you are. So we have this roll bar. So on the KHs, you'll see a non-folding roll bar there. And speaking of KHs, what is that? That's a Kohler motor. So you'll see a 26 horsepower Kohler on the back of these. Again, American made, nice Kohler engines. Again, it used to be a Briggs and a Kohler being the deluxe model and Briggs being entry level. So Kohler is a great engine. It doesn't matter whether it's a Briggs, Kohler, Honda, Kawasaki. Again, depending on what lineup we're looking at, they're all available. They're all good engines. So at the end of the day, Kohler is a good engine to have on here. As we move a little bit farther back too, you'll see they are towable. They come standard with that. They are an option on some of the other zero turns, but it comes standard on the back with the tow hitch on there. So you'll see the tires. They got nice big rear tires here. They changed the rim style a couple years ago as well with the 202 series, so they look fast. Whenever they're sitting here, they're pretty cool rim on the side. They're a pretty minor detail, but it really dresses it up. So that's kind of the end of the overview aspect for the 242 or the 252 KH Kubota zero turn. So let's jump now and talk about the KWs. So as we move over talking about the KWs in the Kubota lineup in the Z202 series, it's a lot of words there, a lot of overlap. So pretty much every Kubota dealership in North America is going to have these units in stock. Whenever you come up and have a conversation with your product specialist, they're going to be going over these key differences just like we are in this video. What really it comes down to is, you know, you're going to come out, you're going to talk to the product specialist, he's going to ask you how many acres you're cutting. If you're cutting 2 acres or 4 acres, that'll vary the deck size. What's really the biggest difference on these two units after the deck size is comfort level. One is quite a bit more comfortable than the other, as well as the costing of the unit. So those are the biggest differences, but let's give you a quick overview and show you those key differences now. So as we start out front, you will see no difference. Again, same size tires out front, same non-greasable, everything's enclosed on those. Again, as we move farther back and talk about the decks, again, it's just deck sizes that change, whether it's a 48 or 54. No differences on that. You got the same black covers there that can easily be removed to give you easy access. Same with the floor there, and give you full access to that deck, clearing out your spindles in around your belt and everything to make it nice and easy that way. Whenever we move a little bit farther back, now we get into some of the key differences. So right off the bat is you'll see the seat. So it is a very deluxe seat with a very nice and easy to operate suspension seat there. So it really ups that comfort level. That's what you're getting extra in these units, is that comfort. So you'll see the same concept in this seat being a very deluxe suspension seat is what you're going to see on the rest of the lineup. May not be the exact seat, but very comfortable in that way and how it operates. You'll see the roll bar now. So you'll see folding roll bar. Again, very important if you have a lot of trees and a very flat surface. So roll bars are there for safety, so you always kind of want it up, but if you have a lot of trees, you may have it down going in underneath those. So again, it makes it easier, it makes it more your unit whenever you're looking to move in and around your your yard. And the biggest difference is at the very back here is the engine itself. So remember before that was the KHs for Kohler, KW stands for Kawasaki there. You're going to be in around that 20 to 25 horsepower Kawasaki's on there, powering these, whether it's a 48 or 54. So that's the biggest differences you're going to run into. It still has that access point underneath where I can flip up that seat. It's still got the towable rear. It's got the nice fancy rear tires there with a nice rim, as well as very, very wide for comfort levels. So three big differences between the KHs and the KWs. Some of the tips we can bring you is for starting your machine. So there's a few key things to know. Again, whenever you start out front here is this pedal. You want to make sure that if you're going to be cutting grass, that it's in the up position, that it's down on the mower deck itself. And again, you want to kind of, if you want to adjust your cutting height again, so is bring this up, adjust your cutting height, and then let it back down to your cutting height like that. So pretty slick and simple on that end of it. You're not pulling a pin or anything, it's just nice and simple. Again, now as you move a little bit further back and you want to actually start cutting grass, there's a few key things to know. There's quite a number of safety switches in here. So first is that you're sitting in the seat. Nothing's going to start whenever you're not sitting in the seat. Number two is these two arms. You'll actually hear a click on each side. There's individual safety switch on each one. They need to be in neutral as they are there to start. After that is your park brake. Again, there's on and off. So again, that's on, that's off. It's what you're going to need to have it. Again, if it's in not park, again, there is nothing going to happen here. So make sure it's in park, good to go on that. As you move around to this side, you're going to have your PTO to engage your mower deck kind of idea. So again, it's to engage and unengage. So if it is engaged, nothing's going to happen. You want to make sure that that's down like that. Last but not least, or two things to really check after that is that you're not throttled all the way up. It's always hard to start things wide open. You want to make sure that the throttle's down. And if it's first start of the day, is that you want to make sure that you have your choke all the way up to have that. And then at this point, once everything's been checked and done, you are good to press the engine start stop button. You're good. So again, nice, quick, simple. So before you fire up your machine, one other important thing you should know is the operational aspect of it. So you should know is that there's two hydrostatic transmissions below you on this machine on any zero turn, and each one operates each one individually. So whenever you're turning and going forward and stuff, this one operates this side of the machine, this one operates that side of the machine. So you have to use them in unison or one or the other to be turning kind of idea. So to explain it all before we fire it up so there's less noise for you. So whenever you fire it up, you're in neutral. Whenever you bring them together, there won't be any movement. Again, being hydrostat, until you actually physically move things, it's going to stay in neutral. So to go forward, you'll be moving both in unison. It'll go forward. If I want to go back, you move both in unison backwards and you'll go back. Whenever you go to turn, it is move one forward, keep one in neutral. If you to turn one way, and if you want to go the other way, same idea, one in neutral, one forward. And then bring them back to neutral, nothing will move. And then last but not least, if you want to do the really hard turn where the zero turn name comes from itself, where it turns on top of itself, is that's one all the way forward, one all the way back. You do have to be careful of that motion, as if you're doing it on wet ground or whatnot, that's where you're going to see the streaking in your lawn. So you can either do it slowly or just be mindful that it is going to leave a mark. So to start this unit up, before I show you the motions, everything's got to be neutral, park brake on, and then we can fire it up here. So once the unit is fired up, again, you just have to take it out of park brake, and then now you're live that way. So again, as to go forward, you bring in everything. Until I actually push forward, nothing is going to happen. Again, being hydrostatic transmission. So we move forward, both in unison, move forward. If I want to go back, same idea, both and back in unison. Now if I want to turn, again, it is one forward, one in neutral. And then if I want to go the other way, same idea, one forward, one in the neutral position. And then to demonstrate again, the zero turn aspect of it, one all the way forward, one all the way back. And then again, put everything in neutral, nothing moves, everything is locked in. That brings us to the end of today's video. One other key tip on top of a tip kind of idea is if you do end up purchasing a Kubota or any zero turn, is whenever you go to utilize it, practice it. Go up to a nice big open spot. If it's your first time, take some time to get used to the machine. These things are fast, they turn on a dime. If you want to ruin your day, is go close to your house the first time using it. You might leave a mark, you might hit your house, you might hit your truck, you might take out a couple shrubs. I've seen it all on demonstrations whenever you get overconfident with these machines too quickly. So just take it slow, take it at an idle, learn the machine, and you'll be quite happy with the unit. But that does bring us to the end of today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please down below. Thank you.